pain born from desire. The monsters we idolized. Fear consuming a once loving heart. Lives taken. Souls shattered. We endured it all. But after a while, you have to ask yourself, do the gods truly care?
We finally climb out of the pagoda realm and find a stone bridge that leads to the massive metal contraption we've been seeing. Maybe now we'll finally uncover the source of the red-eyed frenzy that was turning everyone into bloodthirsty animals. If you look from above, the bridge's shape becomes clear. It's designed like a Buddhist hand symbol. This symbol is called the Shuni Mudra. It represents patience, concentration, and a connection to a higher state of being. This subtle detail may hint at the fact that the Buddhas are guiding us along this path. But this guidance could also mean control, and could be seen as a way of forcing us to do their biddings. Could this entire quest to revive the great sage be part of a grand scheme by the higher deities to gain more power? Guess we'll just have to find out. It turns out this was the creature behind the bloodthirsty frenzy, and the one responsible for turning people into lantern wardens. And it's none other than one of the captains of the Third Prince. After they were defeated, Yellowbrow bewitched him and turned him into the monster we see before us. The purple jailer we fought earlier down in the pagoda realm was also one of the prince's captains. When Captain Lotus-Vision was still human, he endured brutal attacks from Yellowbrow's spiked mace. Each strike left gaping wounds, and over time those holes transformed into eerie glowing eyes that emit a haunting purple light. It makes us wonder what happened to this captain that transformed him into the creature we see before us. But whatever he was in the past is long gone. He is now Captain Wise Voice, the voice that enlightens all, which really just means he emits hypnotizing sounds that help weaken the minds of those who come here and make them easier for Yellowbrow to control. The metal structure we've been seeing throughout the pagoda realm helps amplify the sound, so that there is nowhere to hide, and the only way out is to kill all who stand in your way. The once loyal and courageous captains are now mindless monsters. But sadness aside, he and Captain Lotus-Vision would be great to have at parties. After defeating him to the tune of some classic beats, we exit through a path behind him. If you think this opening is shaped like a birth canal, you are correct. It is meant to symbolize our rebirth. After having survived the bloodbath of the pagoda realm, no one could be the same person as when they first entered. If only the strongest and most vicious survive this place, what does that make us? It makes us awesome is what it makes us. Something to think about as we continue on our rampage, I mean pilgrimage to finding the missing relics. And in case you missed the last video, our target villain for this chapter is Yellowbrow, a former disciple of the Buddhas who thought he could do better by starting his own cult. If Yellowbrow were alive today, he'd be giving TED Talks on how we should all embrace our natural desires and convince people to donate all their life savings to his cult. I mean cause. We explore the land some more and come across another temple, because there are no normal buildings in this world. We meet the macaque chief once again, and he seems to be harassing an old Asian man. Like a good simian, we fight him, and after defeating him, he escapes once more. We realize the old man is none other than our old acquaintance, Yuan Shoucheng, the fortune teller we met in Chapter 1 and 2. We were just about to chase the macaque chief when he tells us to chill out because we won't be able to catch him. So we join him in his warm circle of fire, and as we sit with him, he decides to teach us a new ability that will help us heal faster. This circle of fire technique is a reference to the golden circle that the great sage drew in the ground to protect his master Tripitaka from Yaoguais in Journey to the West. Although in the game it doesn't repel Yaoguais when we use it, the extra healing still offers us protection from enemies. Yuan Shoucheng leaves after giving us this new ability, and we once again wonder why he is helping us on our quest. Could this powerful fortune teller know what lies ahead for us? Is he a player or pawn in this celestial chess game for power? And most importantly, could he hook us up with next week's winning lottery numbers? So many questions, yet no answers. As we continue on our way, we finally meet her. Kids, this is how I met your mother.
Admiral, why so stubborn? Keep at it. You can melt into blood and pus.
Darling, come on!
We see Kang Jin Star in her human form. The white lone we fought earlier was also her, which I might also be totally into. She seems to be talking to someone trapped inside the golden symbols that Yellowbrow stole from the Buddhas, and she now refers to Yellowbrow as her master. And we have to wonder why a god of the celestial court is working for him. Whoever was trapped in the golden symbols banged it from the inside and woke up the giant turtle beneath our feet. The entire island we are standing on is the turtle's back. And then, like a true wingman, the trapped person turns Kang Jin Star's attention to us.
Master valued your talents. He kept you alive beneath the pagoda for your own good. How ungrateful. Evidently, you just don't deserve the ecstasy of the New West.
Apparently, Yellowbrow had hoped we could work for him, like the macaque chief and other monkeys of Mount Huaguo who escaped to the New West after the downfall of the Great Sage. We once again dance the dance of courtship, and we finish our first date with our partner unconscious on the ground. And from her journal, we find out what Kang Jin Star was really up to when she came to the New West. She used Yellowbrow's banquet as a cover-up to investigate the missing Dawn Star, which was a cover-up for her true mission to find a relic of the Great Sage. Kang Jin Star was actually an admirer of the sage, and she wanted to help revive him. Seeing that the Heavenly Court wanted him dead, she had to do this in secret. Eventually, she confronted Yellowbrow, and he admitted that he had a small portion of the Great Sage inside that magical bag of his. As he unzipped the bag, Kang Jin Star was sucked into it, and inside she saw a giant goldfish with 10 tails. After a while, Yellowbrow let her out, but she was completely dazed and accepted Yellowbrow as her new master. Whatever she saw in that bag caused her to lose faith in the Great Sage and all the gods in the heavens. Right after we defeat Kang Jin Star, she says we'll never open the golden symbols. And then she turns into her dragon form, which we immediately use to open the golden symbols. This is actually a reference to Journey to the West, when Kang Jin Star used her sharp horn to free the Great Sage from the same trap. A 9-pronged rake flies out in slow motion, and we recognize immediately that the one trapped inside is none other than
Bajie, another main character and disciple in Journey to the West. After enlisting Shoucheng, Guan Yin continued his journey eastward. His travels brought him to a mountain surrounded by a malevolent aura. Suddenly, a dark gust of wind swept through, and a fearsome demon sprang forth, wielding a terrifying rake. With a swift attack, the demon lunged at Guan Yin, but her loyal disciple intercepted the blow with his staff, and the two clashed fiercely beneath the mountain. Realizing the fight was escalating, Guan Yin ascended into the sky and cast down a lotus flower, separating the combatants. The demon, stunned by the divine intervention, demanded to know who they were. Guan Yin revealed his celestial status, prompting the demon to kneel in reverence. He confessed that he was once an admiral in the heavens, but was punished for trying to seduce a moon goddess. He was banished to the mortal realm, and accidentally fell into the cycle of animal reincarnation, causing him to be reborn as a pig. Consumed by hunger, he now lived in the mountains and preyed on humans. Guan Yin offered the demon a chance for redemption, to become a disciple on the sacred journey westward. In return, his sins would be forgiven, and he would earn a place among the Buddhas.
Given the fact that he was an admiral of the heavenly army who turned into a pig monster, we shudder to think what he might have become now, after hundreds of years of cultivation amongst the Buddhas. And he's a pet pig. We just got a pet pig for a companion. After climbing down from the golden symbols with his little pig legs, Bajie finally joins us. He heard about our mission from the old monkey back at Mount Huaguo and came to help. Why? Because Yellowbrow isn't just strong, he's sneaky. Our new companion was worried that we might fall for one of his lies. Or worse, get roped into some weird pyramid scheme. But really, helping us is just a side quest. His main goal is to bring back the Great Sage. Back in their Journey to the West days, he and the Great Sage didn't always get along. Their arguments almost caused the Great Sage to quit the journey. But in the end, no matter what happened, they always had each other's back. Even though the Great Sage has been gone for 500 years, it seems like their friendship is stronger than ever. Our new companion says he's good friends with the giant turtle and tells the old boy that he'll take vengeance on Yellowbrow for both him and the Snake General. The turtle and snake generals were once the stomach and intestines of a god named Xuan Wu Di, a powerful deity who started out as a human. As he cultivated his spiritual powers and climbed the path towards godhood, he found himself constantly distracted by his innards who kept simping for food and nourishment. So he ripped them out and tossed them onto the ground. When he finally ascended to godhood, his intestines turned into a giant snake and his stomach a giant turtle. Together they are known as Xuan Wu and became protector deities of the north. After the downfall of the Great Sage, Yellowbrow somehow regained his freedom and returned to the New West to scam more people out of their money. He also turned desperate refugees into slaves with a fake smile and sweet lies. The turtle and snake generals came to stop Yellowbrow, but he released a 10-tailed goldfish and golden bat that matched them in power. What followed was a brutal battle that shook the mountains. Finally, Yellowbrow, being the sneaky bastard that he is, unleashed a snowstorm that caused the turtle and snake general to feel drowsy. Even though they were godlike creatures, they could not fight their true nature as cold-blooded animals. Before the turtle general sank into the lake in a deep slumber, he saw his old friend get cut into pieces. No proper farewell, no second chances. Even in a world where reincarnation exists, sometimes a soul is lost forever. And so he now weeps for his brother, whose remains are still scattered across the beach where they last fought side by side.
The Turtle General carries us across the Bitter Lake, or Ku Hai in Chinese, a place that symbolizes the endless suffering mortals endure in the cycle of life and death. There's a well-known saying, 苦海无边，回头是岸. The sea of suffering is endless. Turn back, and you will find the shore.
In Buddhism, suffering is rooted in earthly desires and attachments, and only by turning away from these desires can one find peace. It's said that becoming a Buddha or deity frees you from this cycle. But that raises a question. Why is it that only gods and Buddhas get to escape sorrow while mortals are left to suffer? Are the gods and Buddhas truly benevolent in this world? Honestly, after everything I've seen, I wouldn't be surprised if they turned out to be the final bosses. During this whole journey, it felt like we were being led by unseen forces with motives we couldn't fully grasp. There are many mysteries still unsolved, but one thing is certain, it's all about power. There is a rigid hierarchy among gods and Buddhas, and those at the top are always reaching for more power and control. Which is funny considering how they spin the narrative that gods and Buddhas have no desires. I guess not practicing what you preach is one thing humans have in common with gods. Maybe this whole game is a metaphor to reflect the state of our society? We ponder on these questions as we take turns beating up an old dragon man we met along the shores. To be fair, he started it. After dislocating his hip, we meet Chen Loong.
I might as well die. No chance of immortality.
He and our Pigsy companion were actually old acquaintances in the Heavenly Court. He complains about the tail whooping we just laid down on him and asks us to get him a healing pill from our drug-dealing dog. We went and got one for him because it's not like we were doing anything important. He takes the pill and Loki tossed it away. Motherfuck, before we could dislocate his hip again, he says he will help us on our journey. The fight we had with him was actually a test of our strength, and obtaining the pill was a signal that Shoe Dog has also deemed us worthy. The old dragon then gives us a magical scroll that transports us to the Zodiac village, a quaint little place where we can do all our item upgrades and take a break from hostile enemies.
Go with the wind.
I'll be back. The NPCs in this village all used to work for the Heavenly Court, but they were banished to the mortal realm for being friends with the Great Sage. This place is called Zodiac Village because its residents are all part of the 12 Chinese zodiac animals. In Chen Loong's journal, we learn he received a magical scroll from the sacred divinity, aka Erlang Shen, the same one who led the heavenly army to kill the Great Sage. The Zodiacs weren't sure if this was a trap to frame them, or if Erlang Shen truly wanted to help the Destined One. While they argued, Shoe Dog stepped forward and said they should help, because it was the right thing to do. Honestly, the fact that this shady-looking dog was the first to stand up for us just proves that heroes come in all forms. Sometimes heroes can also look like they have rabies. We step out of the painting and continue our search for the next relic, this time with more friends at our side. But of course, peace doesn't last long in this world. Just a few steps inland and we're ambushed by a demonic golden bat, likely the same one the turtle and snake generals once battled. After we defeat this monster, we uncover a dark secret. The people who lived here once worshipped this bat Yaoguai. It had fused itself with a golden Buddha statue and posed as a deity who could grant wishes. In exchange for things like wealth and power, the usual things that make people lose their humanity, the villagers lured in unsuspecting travelers for the Yaoguai to eat. It was a monster wearing the mask of a god, and the villagers happily played along because they also got what they wanted. And that brings up a disturbing question. If this Yaoguai succeeded in pretending to be a god, what about the so-called real gods in this world? Are they also monsters pretending to be benevolent beings? From what we've seen, this is a real possibility. The gods have proven that they are ruthless when it comes to hoarding power and erasing threats, and when their control is threatened, they act less like enlightened beings and more like tyrants with good PR. As we keep traveling inland, we run into a man under attack by smaller bat yaoguais. We help him because it was the right thing to do, and not because it looked like the opening to a side quest. He thanks us and says he's here looking for a treasure, but he won't say what. We say our farewells and he continues on his search. I give him 10 minutes before I either need to save him or find his dead corpse. This encounter left us wondering what treasure the man was after. Was it the sacred relic he heard about? Or was there something else powerful buried in this land? As we ponder on this, we meet the chubby child once again, and this time he's wearing a blue robe. The last time we met, he gave us a Bond villain monologue and unleashed Kang Jin Star on us. He asks us if we see the large Buddha statue in the distance. Bajie says there isn't one, and the child replies that he couldn't see it because he does not carry the Buddha in his heart. What he means is, when you've truly internalized enlightenment, you don't need statues or temples to prove it. Being a Buddha is not about appearances, it's about what's within. This reminds us of the greedy monk Elder Jinchi back in Chapter 1, who needed the most exquisite monk robes to show the world how enlightened he was. And it's the same with Yellowbrow, who needed grand temples and an army of disciples to convince others and himself that he was divine. Even so-called real gods and Buddhas seem to fall into this trap. In Chapter 2, we saw how they punished mortals for turning away from their religions in the Kingdom of Flowing Sands. It seems that even in heaven, ego runs deep. And it becomes clear to us that the chubby child in blue is the real Buddha Maitreya, and the one we met earlier was Yellowbrow in disguise. For all his loud criticisms of Buddhism, the truth is, Yellowbrow wanted nothing more than to be a Buddha. But his deep-rooted desires for power and indulgence prevent him from ever reaching enlightenment. He isn't telling mortals to indulge in all their desires because he truly believes it's virtuous. He's promoting it because he has so much of it and doesn't want to deny himself any pleasure. And from all the stories we've pieced together so far, Yellowbrow is running a cult where his followers become his slaves and only he gets to enjoy anything. The Buddha leaves us with a cryptic message instead of helpful directions and then vanishes. Looks like we'll have to find our own way to Yellowbrow's hideout. In case you're wondering, the Buddha Maitreya is also known as the future Buddha and has the power to see what's to come. He appears in the game as a child because he represents unrealized potential and is himself not yet a full Buddha. According to legend, he appears during times of spiritual decline and has been used as a symbol of rebellion to topple the corrupt ruling regime and represents a catalyst for change. His appearance in our quest might be a hint that the current celestial order is nearing its end. So stay tuned and find out how this world goes from a celestial bureaucratic monarchy to communism,